Hello, YouTubers. A lot of Christians talk about the sins of our nation and that God will punish our nation for its sins. For example, some Christians think that God is punishing America because the government allows gay people to live their lives. I'm going to make the case that capitalism is our nation's greatest sin and that we will not go unpunished because of this sin. For those who are unaware of capitalism, it's an economic and political system where countries' trade and industry are mainly controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. Sounds fairly harmless, right? While capitalism may sound good on the surface, I'm going to make the case that capitalism encourages us to act in almost every way against God. It is because of capitalism that there is so much immorality in this country. Capitalism encourages us to act prideful and greedy, things that the Bible teaches that God hates more than anything. Some take issue with this view of capitalism. They will say things like, capitalism doesn't encourage greed, it encourages rational selfishness. Well, that's just calling a mountain lion a panther. More pointedly, it's people trying to justify a greedy system. People that make such arguments are trying to play lawyer rather than focus on the problems that capitalism creates. While there are too many examples of greed in this country, I think the fact that we have private prisons is a shining example of the failure of capitalism. It is greed that encourages the owners of private prison corporations to pay Congress to pass laws that lock more people up. The more people that are locked up, the more money these rich, greedy men make. It is also because of greed that our currency is the reserve currency of the world. It is because of greed that our tax policies benefit the extremely rich and to the detriment of the poor. It is because of greed that we don't provide health care to our citizens. I'm sure you can think of many other examples of greed in our country. What's important to know is that capitalism creates greed because it encourages the use of greed, or rational selfishness. When a system encourages greed, then more people act greedy. Much like greed, capitalism also encourages pride and arrogance. This makes sense since greed and pride do go hand in hand. While at first capitalism creates a middle class, the end result is the destruction of that same middle class it created in what's called end-game capitalism. End-game capitalism hurts the poor because as mega corporations consolidate, smaller businesses can't compete. As a result, many jobs are lost, and the ones that replace them aren't as good. Most of the wealth created in a capitalist society goes to the upper class, creating a small group of people with a lot of power. It is this power and wealth that makes them think that they are better than other people, making them prideful and arrogant. Because capitalism encourages pride and arrogance, it is the most anti-Christian economic political system imaginable. There is nothing Christian about a system that encourages us to do the things that God hates. That God hates and will punish greed is repeated throughout Proverbs and many other places in the Bible. For example, Proverbs 8:13 teaches that the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, and then it lists pride and arrogance as the main sins. Proverbs also teaches that everyone who is arrogant in heart is an abomination to the Lord, and that they will be punished for their arrogance. So, what should we do? Well, if we were a Christian nation, we would stop practicing our sinful system of capitalism. We would implement an economic system that is for and by the people. Will this happen? Probably not. Like I said, we aren't really a Christian nation. Plus, ending capitalism probably couldn't be done without violence. It's not like the super rich would give up power easily. To truly end capitalism, it would likely require a bloody and violent revolution. Given their wealth and power, I don't think that the super rich will be defeated through any political movement. I also hope that I'm wrong. There certainly are those who advocate for a more just economic system. I'm hopeful that Justice Democrats will have enough political power to alleviate some of the worst problems of capitalism or even implement a socialist economy. But it's not something I'm putting my faith in. But I encourage every Christian to take heart. I want you to know that every politician that has lied to you will not go unpunished. One day, God will judge the nations. The humble of the land will be hidden on the day of the Lord's anger, but the proud will not escape. So, in short, I agree with Christians that teach that there is great sin in our nation, and that God will punish our nation for its sins. The Bible makes clear that everyone who is arrogant in heart will not go unpunished. God will punish our nation for our arrogance and for the way that we treat others. In short, God will punish us for our economic system, not because of homosexuality. Folks, as I've made clear in my previous videos, I'm not afraid to die for the truth. If you like this video and support my message, please show your support by subscribing. Thanks for your time.